Hey! Welcome back to the show, the wrestling show. We're keeping it real, goes right, or should I say, oh, YouTube! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world famous podcast champs and feel the power.
I was going to say, that's the part where the music comes in.
Come on. Woo. Get him.
It's a good day today. It's a damn good day today.
New champ.
I'm waiting for him to come out. I'm waiting for
hit that Kofi. Let me stop.
Don't give him too much. Don't give him too much.
Don't get too much. Stop trying to get demonetized. This is what it's about. Oh. What a day, what a day, what a time. Cincy, welcome to the chat. Welcome, everyone, to Real Take Wrestle Talk, the new and improved version. We got more fire. We got more Trevor than we have recently. It's been a great time. Cincy says in the chat, I've gotten 2 wishes granted in 2 weeks. Oh, buddy. If you were the reason why that happened, then great.
God bless you.
God bless you, kid. Since he also said, the fuck happened to this podcast while I was gone? I don't know, man. This is what happens when you leave. This is what happens when Trevor leaves for 2 weeks. This man went on vacation. Quote unquote vacation.
Yeah, big quotations.
Big quotations, but it's okay. We're back. We're having fun. Big E, yes, Big E, formerly Langston, is the new WWE champion in a huge thing that took place on Raw, because it was a thing, and how it came to happen was also a thing. But we'll talk about that. We're also talking about some news out of AEW, and we got the numbers for the All Out pay-per-view and those pay-per-view buys. We got some numbers from last night's Raw, comparing them to Dynamite, and guess who wins, Trevor?
I'm guessing Dynamite?
Dynamite! Yes, sir! It's going to be a wild one today. It's going to be a fun one. Before we get started on any of that, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. We'll also be going very deep into what is going to happen to the new and improved NXT, which is debuting right as we're recording right now. I got it pulled up right here so I can see all the shiznit that's about to go down there, but it's going to be a wild one, like I said. Trevor, welcome back, man. How does it feel to be back, finally?
It feels good to be back, man. as you know, I was working, and, man, I needed some YouTube therapy. I definitely need some YouTube therapy, so I'm glad to be back.
You need some YouTube therapy. You know who else needed some therapy, man? Me, after the week I've had, after the week of watching all that wrestling like the past 2 weeks by myself, reporting it by myself. But it's okay. I'm glad you're back. And hey, it's not going to stop, since he in the chat says, I wanted a demon return, and he returned. I wanted Big E to win the title, and he did. Oh, things come in threes. So we got one more great thing that's about to happen in WWE before Vince fucks it up.
And shits on it completely.
Oh, it's such good shit. We're gonna Jackson Riker. Wow. It's gonna be a fun time. I got a lot of energy today. We'll talk about the new and improved NXT and everything else in just a minute. Trevor, we haven't seen you, so very quickly, we'll get more in depth on this on our Patreon live show after this. Be sure to hit up patreon.com/realtakesports. Trevor, what did you think about All Out? Because you haven't had a chance to really comment on this.
Yeah,
so what did you think about All Out?
All Out was amazing, actually. It really was. Like, I work. I'm a bartender. If anyone doesn't know that, and that night I came home, kind of tired, but I sat there and watched All Out, and I'm like, yo, this is worth staying up for. It was absolutely awesome. I enjoyed every second of it. Like, it was better than I thought it was going to be, which I thought it was going to be amazing, and it was better than that. Like, there were even the matches that I thought were going to suck were good.
Matches? There's one match that sucked, buddy. There was one match that sucked.
Sure. I'm sorry.
And by the way, I just want to, before we'll get into our show in just a second, I am looking right now at NXT. LA Knight's coming out. They did a number on the Capitol Wrestling Center, buddy. This is a
I'm looking at it right now myself, and
Oh, buddy, I don't like this. They got rid of the one thing I liked about NXT was the ring, like the ring canvas and the ropes are different colors, and now it's all the same. It's all white.
It's all white.
That's what Vince is about.
Allegedly. It definitely looks more like an indie. Well, it looked like an indie promotion before, but
yeah, no, now it's WWE.
It's a WWE. It's a training facility that is owned by WWE right now.
Give it 1 year. This is gonna be ECW 3.0, baby. Cincy, they made it look like it's a bootleg version of what the main about what the main roster like set looks like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, racist ropes, says Cincy. Racist ropes, he says in the chat.
They are. They're very racist.
Very racist. Anyway, guys, we'll update you guys on NXT. We'll talk about that more in depth later on in the episode. But Trevor, first, let's get to one interesting thing that we didn't get to talk about last week, but I did want to touch on. And that is the PWI 500 best wrestlers list that was released just about a week ago. So if we take a look at the top 10 right here, of course, you can see Kenny Omega is number 1 for the 2021 year, and then followed by Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Kota Ibushi from Name Redacted, Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, followed by Finn Balor, Shingo Takagi, and Rich Swann. So again, those are the names that are on there. Those are the top 10, and then it goes on from there. But Trevor, just kind of, I guess, looking at that top 10 as I brought it up just now, what were some names? What do you think about this list? What were some names that stood out to you? And what do you think about like what they represent, you know?
So honestly, there are some names on there that aren't a surprise. I mean, let's be honest. Kenny Omega's not a surprise. Reigns with the work he's done this year, not a surprise. Kota Ibushi, not a surprise. Moxley is the only surprise. To me is the fact that Moxley has dropped so low, which makes sense. But Finn Balor. Now I will say Rich Swann is kind of a surprise, even though he has been doing some good work. He's kind of a surprise to me. Even Drew McIntyre, because they really haven't been using him that much. He hasn't really been doing much. He's been doing the same match for like 4 weeks. So it's like it's a little surprising to see him on there. But other than that, it's not. It's a pretty good top 10.
So what do you think? There's one obvious name on this list that stands out the most, and that is Rich Swann. Rich Swann, of course, was the Impact Wrestling champion for a while, combined with the TNA belt. He lost that to Kenny Omega back in July, I believe. So he kind of carried that company a little bit through the pandemic. He was one of the main guys there. So, but what do you think about him being a top 10 in the world right now wrestler, and that ranking specifically? Of course, it's all subjective.
Yeah, of course. It's all subjective. I like Rich Swann. I do. I definitely do. But I don't know if his body of work, just what he was doing in the pandemic, warranted him being top 10 wrestler of all, the whole year. But I will say he deserves to be on this list. Top 10, maybe not so much, but definitely on this list.
And one of the things that I took away, because there was a large debate online, people love to argue about these things online, and it's fun. Here's the thing. These lists are fun when they come out from people like Meltzer or they should be fun, or PWI. They should be fun because, it's someone's opinion. It gets you talking about wrestling and then gets you to answer your own questions, or it gets you to answer the question for yourself as well. So for me, it's like, okay, Kenny Omega, yeah, he probably is the best wrestler of 2021. I like that. And then you can start a conversation. But what happens immediately amongst wrestling fans is, oh, look at this bullshit. They got Bobby Lashley needs to be number 4. And then Roman Reigns. How is Roman Reigns? How do you not acknowledge the tribal chief PWI? You ungrateful sons of bitches. How dare you? And then that we love you, PWI. But that's what people online say, that they're all about, hey, like, why isn't this? And I'm just like, Dude, it's a list. It's subjective. You don't have to take it as gospel because it's not. Very, very seldomly are people's in wrestling's word actually gospel. You know, like that's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of entertainment. You can find anything entertaining, right? But I never got it. I never got why people had such a big, made such a big deal about these lists because they're largely for entertainment purposes. You know, PWI does a thing. They've always ranked wrestlers, and that's good. That's fine. I'm with that. I like that. But I hate that it's gone. I hate the fans have taken it so far. I hate the fans have taken it so far where people are sending each other literal death threats.
Yeah.
Death threats over pro wrestling. Chill out, Marks. Chill out.
They don't want to chill out. This is their real life. You acknowledge the fact that this is real life.
I know, right? I don't get it. I just don't get. I don't get it. I'm following.
Did he just lose?
I don't know what's happening. NXT apparently wasn't he supposed to be in the title match?
Yeah. What the fuck just happened?
This fucking company, bro. They literally advertised this yesterday. I don't know. I'll watch. I don't know. Kerwin also is very confused. Kerwin's also very confused.
I don't know what the fuck just happened. I don't have the sound on, so I'm just.
So, yeah, I don't know what's happening either. Let's take it to the chat real quick as we try to make sense of NXT. That's a funny statement. Anyway, so Kerwin in the chat says, wait, NXT canceled the Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Championship? Maybe. Because Eli Drake LA Knight just lost. Cincy in the chat says, why won't Dave Honor give Danhausen a damn blimp? I don't know why. Give that man a blimp. Give him a Blimphausen. It was a terrible list. Quite the shitty list. We're dropping some frames here. Uh-oh. Oh my. Man, we're doing such good work on that stream. Hold up.
Wait.
Okay. The fuck happened to NXT? I don't know what the fuck happened to NXT. Are we still good? Are we still live? Let us know in the chat, please. Let me know because YouTube is not letting me know, which is a weird thing. It usually lets me know.
I'm checking to see right now.
Let's see. Stream health. It says poor here. Well,
I think we're live, sir.
We're live? All right, cool. Amazing. Cool. So, hey, a little bit of a bumpy start, but that's what happens when Trevor misses 2 weeks. We're good, says Cincy. Thank you, Cincy, for being our associate producer. We love it. So anyway, guys, let's continue talking about this. I want to stick with this list real quickly, Trevor, because there's one other thing that I want to talk about, and that is obviously when we're talking about top wrestlers in the world right now, and lists, one of the big things that comes up are snubs. So one of the big names that I personally thought was largely snubbed from this list was the one, the only, your boy who faced CM Punk at All Out, Darby Allin. Darby Allin, he carried Dynamite for a long time. So what's your reaction to Darby Allin? He's 14 on this list, by the way. What's your reaction to that?
It's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking that when we were talking about Rich Swann. Yeah, he should definitely be in the top 10. What number is Jungle Boy?
Yeah, so it's weird. So the way they did this list, I'm having trouble finding it, but let's see. Let's actually see where Jungle Boy Jack Perry is. He's 69. Nice.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Good number.
Nice.
But he doesn't deserve to be that low at all.
He does not deserve to be that low.
Again, I understand this is just opinions by other people, but still, I don't believe you can have a top wrestler list and put Jungle Boy Jack Perry at 69 and be okay with it.
I you know what? I oddly I think Jack Perry might be okay with it. I think he might think it's quite nice.
You know why? Because it's a funny number.
It's a nice number, is what it is. It's a very nice number. I agree, and I also agree that if you think that's a nice number, you should hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Trevor, let's move on as I'm watching NXT. I don't know what's happening. This show makes no sense to me. I'll probably watch it afterwards. But let's move on and talk about WWE. And this was a funny little note that I came across that I wanted to talk about on the show because it involves words that might be banned, allegedly, according to Dave Meltzer, from WWE and WWE TV. So we've heard before they don't like to use the words like title belt. They don't like to use the words like, work or wrestling, especially, which is insane when you really think about it. But them's the breaks. But according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the banned words list on WWE has been updated, and it includes some rather odd words. So WWE superstars who were promoting WrestleMania 37 earlier this year were told to avoid the following words. And Trevor, as I read these out, I kind of want you to react to them kind of in real time and just let me know what you think of them.
Gotcha.
So, first word, blood.
You got it.
Okay, second word,
Lord.
choke.
What?
Third word, belt.
Too. Belt, they've always tried to shy away from the word belt, though.
Okay, I'll go through some of these quicker. Diva, headshot, trauma, kayfabe.
What the fuck? Continue.
No shit, kayfabe's gonna be banned, but okay.
I kind of get diva though. Diva makes sense to me, actually. Diva makes sense.
Moving on. This next one's a doozy. Mofos.
The company that literally said a racial slur on TV and mofos is being banned.
Mofos, yes. Don't Google that, kids. House show, DQ. This one's interesting. The anti-diva.
What?
I don't know. The anti-diva. Spinal injuries. Victim. Violent. Wrestling. Wrestlers. WWF. and this one's the one that stood out the most. Wife beater.
Oh dear. Oh, dear. Now I understand wrestling and wrestlers because they don't really do wrestling on the show, so I understand. But wife beater. Wow.
Why would they need to? I feel like that's that's understood, right? Like
exactly. I feel like that's
what situation would the commentators be in? What situation would these people be in that they had to use the term wife beater?
Oh, he just hit him with a spine spine buster, but you also know in his spare time he's a wife beater. We're like, what? Geez. That doesn't make any sense.
They gave someone that gimmick, by the way. Like back
they did. I forget his name.
Who it was. They gave some jabroni that gimmick.
It was I forget who it was. It was a few years back. I actually remember that. I forget who it was.
It was that's crazy. Anyway, let's finish off the list. So curb stomp, which happens to be Seth Rollins' finishing move, but okay.
What are you gonna call that now?
Babyface, heel, no shit, jobber, card, strangle, kill, and murder.
Oh yes, because this is a company who loves to say murder and kill. Jesus Christ.
This damn company, man. I swear to God, this. Anyway, so those are the list of out of that list that I just read out to you. What do you think is the weirdest one? The one that stood out to you the most?
The one that stood out to me the most. Honestly, wrestler in wrestling. Like last time I checked, that's what you were explaining to people that you were doing. Like, so what am I going to say if I'm an announcer? Oh, this is a great walking match. Like what can I say? This is a great match where people are standing around. Like, what can I call it? That's done. That one's kind of one of the dumber ones. How about you? What stands out to you?
Wife beater. That is obvious. The biggest one that stands out to me. I don't understand what
It
context.
shouldn't
Again,
stand out because I feel like that's obvious.
I'm just saying, why would they need to? That's like telling me. That's like telling me like at like like 24, 25 years old. Hey kid, don't like play around with matches near gasoline. Like no shit. Now, look, what situation would I be that would they be in where they need to use that word? It's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Going to the chat real quick.
I mean, that one goes to me. That one goes.
No, you're good. You're good. I think there's a delay. There's a little bit of a delay on our parts. My bad.
Oh, there we go.
What yeah, I can hear you. What a show this is, by the way.
Already started off to a good start.
Amazing start. This is what happens again when you miss 2 freaking weeks of TV, Trevor. God damn it. Goddamn pal.
I mean, you fired me like 6 times in the last one. In the last stream.
I rehired you. Anyway.
Every time you fired me.
Every time I fire you. Anyway, so in the chat real quick, we'll just look at some of these. When blood is a banned word, says Cincy. Quote, an odd red substance is coming out of John Cena's head.
I think it's Kool-Aid.
Also, since he says Seth Rollins' finishing move is just stomp now, so it's just the stomp. It's not a curb stomp.
People say stomp.
It's just a stomp. Stomp the yard, baby. Stomp the yard. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. You okay, buddy? You okay?
You're trying to fix my camera here.
Your camera's fine, buddy. Your camera's fine. Anyway, Trevor, let's move on to the biggest story of this week, the biggest story, hopefully, of the next few months, and that is Big E winning the WWE title. Finally, by God, finally, Big E has won the WWE Championship. The former Mr. Money in the Bank, he cashed in that contract on Bobby Lashley after announcing it on Twitter earlier on Monday. Cashed it in, beat Bobby Lashley after Lashley had a match with Randy Orton, and it was genuinely, even though it only had like literally 12 hours of build, it was genuinely one of the most fun, happiest, nice moments in WWE in a very long time. I argue probably since Kofi Kingston won his title back at Mania 35. Like, this was something that brought a lot of the wrestling community together. You saw the adulation and the excitement on the eyes of his fellow members of the New Day. You saw what happened online with everyone just supporting Big E as he is a great guy, obviously. Trevor, what did you think of this title win, and how awesome was it?
Finally, is what I actually said. Like, well deserved, man. Big E, I couldn't go to a nicer guy, to a guy who deserved it more. Like, and honestly, the little 5-minute match that he had with Bobby Lashley was absolutely amazing. It was a good match, honestly. I mean, it wasn't like match of the year or anything like that, but I mean, normally it's like someone comes in, smacks them with something, do a move, and it's done. But that was actually a little nice go back and forth. Man, I couldn't be happier for Big E. He was well deserved, man. I've been wanting to see him with a major title for a very long time, and it's a long time coming.
It really was a long time coming, and like I said, one of the more happy moments. back? Yes, we are. We are back. Hello, hello. We
I
are
don't see anything,
back.
but
Oh, because I didn't share the camera. That's why I didn't. That's why you don't see anything. There you go. Can you see everything now?
yes,
Are your
sir.
needs met, sir? I think we are, and I think
There.
YouTube's needs are met again. Sorry about those technical difficulties. First time that's happened for those of you who's ever watched this stream. I try to run a very tight ship around here. Um, but let's get right back into it, Trevor. As I was saying, Big E became the WWE champion, and what is so we knew it was an awesome moment, and it was something that genuinely brought together a lot of people in the wrestling community. But my other question coming out of this is he is the WWE champion. And for a very long time, people said Big E couldn't be champion. He couldn't get over as a champion if he wasn't, a heel, if he didn't play a specific type of character. But the funny thing is, or the ironic thing I should say, is that Big E got over. Big E became a champion in WWE, became the champion in WWE by not being anyone else's version of Big E, by being himself. He got over being a happy-go-lucky babyface, and it worked. So what do you make of this whole thing? Because there's a lot of people online, obviously, who are not happy with Big E and him winning in this way. They wanted to see him win in a certain way. But what do you think?
No, I believe we had that conversation a while back about whether Big E would be able to win just being Big E, just being him and not being a heel. And honestly, at one point, I'm going to be one of those people that said as well that I believe that he had to be a heel only because of the way that they were marketing him. But I think you said it best. He took his gimmick and made himself the best version of himself that he possibly could be. And I like this Big E. I do. I like this Big E. I thought the feud with Apollo Crews was a little overdone, but I liked a lot of his feuds that he had while he was the Intercontinental Champion. But no, I honestly think this will work. Now, what the question is, how are they going to use him and what are they going to do with it? Are they going to keep him as champion or are they going to take it off him quick like they did with the superhero, the not superhero?
Oh, good old Nikki Ash. See, I like you said that because for me, the thing about Big E, should he have been a heel? Should he have been a face or whatever, right? I like the fact that Big E won by being himself. He was largely because in wrestling we've heard a lot of people say this, whether it's talent who's in other companies or even legends like Stone Cold. The best characters, the best people who get over are just, amplified versions of themselves. Look at people like Stone Cold. Look at people like even Hulk Hogan, just an amplified version of Hulk Hogan. CM Punk, the list goes on and on. They're not necessarily playing a character, and that's why it comes off as so real and authentic, and people buy into it. And that you saw the same effect with not just Big E, but the New Day. And they were one of the best. They are legitimately one of the best tag teams, factions, whatever, in wrestling history. And now you have two former champions in there. It just makes it so much greater. And for people who were told, Big E, Kofi, and Xavier, you'd never be main eventers. Especially people like Kofi and Xavier. You would never be main eventers. Big E, he had the big body that Vince likes, right? But Kofi Kingston was never supposed to be WWE champion. Xavier Woods was never supposed to be part of one of the best things in wrestling history. But they got there because not only of their own hard work, but because they played themselves. I think that played such a huge role into these guys getting over and elevating themselves and people caring about them. And you're seeing that translate into this reaction, this outpour of emotion and happiness for Big E.
I totally agree. Like it feels good. Like you said, we don't have a whole lot of great news that we share on here about WWE. And again, it's not because we hate them. It's because, unfortunately, they are trash at the moment, and a lot of the things they do are stupid. And like,
tell us how you really feel.
I'm nothing if I'm not honest. and that's pretty much what it is. But this is honestly a feel good story, and and it's great to see someone who's been busting his ass as long as Big E has to finally get to the top where he's been trying to get.
Absolutely. And Trevor, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that what we witnessed was history on Monday night. Big E winning the title, and it's not only because Big E won. I believe, and people in the comments can tell me if I'm wrong, this was the first time in WWE history, at least, that we saw a black challenger pin a black world champion to
I
win
was about to say that.
the WWE title. So
Yeah,
I mean, what does that mean in the context of like wrestling and fans who watch this moment?
because he now quote me if I'm wrong, but he was one of the first, if not the first, Black Money in the Bank winner, wasn't he?
Um, I believe so. I can't. I mean, I can't say for sure, but he was definitely one of the first, right? Yeah,
Right.
I would say so. Yeah, one of
Yeah.
the
So I
first.
mean, that's history within itself. Like, and then you have the fact that did he actually did win, and it was against another person of color, African American. Like, that's amazing. I mean, the same thing happened with Apollo Crews with the Intercontinental Champion. Now I
Yeah,
don't know if that was the first, but it was something that didn't happen quite often.
yeah.
Um, it was a lot. It's a big thing. It's definitely a big thing.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I don't mean to like minimize it at all, big, but there's a lot of people online who are like, oh, we need to keep race out of it, and you shouldn't get emotional about it. I'm like, dude, that's what makes this so great, though. Like the fact that this is like I know the term first time in history gets overplayed a lot, and like WWE does it a lot. Like let's be honest, WWE does that a lot when it probably doesn't need to be, said like, oh, the first time in history that these two are going head to head in this
Right.
event. I'm just like, all right, come on, chill. But this was a legitimate first time in history that people can walk away and not only learn something from the context of the conversation, but look back at and say, I witnessed, what I just watched. It is truly remarkable because, and it might not, some people might not be able to relate to it, but the people who do are gonna, it's gonna hit you in a very special way. Like remember when Shad Gaspard and MVP watched Kofi Kingston win the WWE title? Remember, like there's a video
Yeah.
circulating of Shad and MVP hugging each other in literal tears after watching Kofi win and Kofi becoming one of the first WWE champions, because you had The Rock, you had a few people before, but again, one of the first big moments at WrestleMania, and the fact that it was Kofi Kingston too, and personally, like when someone like when Jinder won the WWE title, like
And,
you know
you shared that with us before, and
yeah,
I can only imagine.
yeah, and like it wasn't, I'm not trying to compare the two or anything. I'm just like trying to share like my own thoughts, because it gave you that, for me at least, when Jinder won, it kind of, it was great because there hasn't been like someone, like a person of color from India or Punjab, where Jinder and I are from, right, who's come all the way to win that title. Like that's a big thing. That's a big thing for Desi people. That's a big thing for the brown community in the United States and around the world, to see someone like them. And that's what it is. It's people, like kids today, are going to look at Big E and be like, man, someone like me can win a title, whether it's WWE, whether it's UFC, whatever. We can make it. And that's part of a lot of the equality that people talk about we're fighting for. It's a part of it that I think is very important, because it helps you aspire to legitimately be better, and it lets you know that your aspirations can be successful in the end. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I
big takeaway for
remember.
me.
I think it's great that you mentioned that. I remember when I was younger, my brother used to mention to me on when he saw Ron Simmons win the belt in WCW, and at the time he was one of the first African Americans to do that as well. And I was too young to really, embrace it the way that my brother did and everything like that. And of course, with Rocky Soulman Johnson and Tony Atlas, I was way too young for all of that. But there was a time, and I'm sure you know who I'm about to mention. Back when I was coming up, back when I was younger, there was a wrestler, for the ones that don't know, Ahmed Johnson, and he was from Pearl River, Georgia, and he was wrestling for the Intercontinental title. And at the time, there weren't a whole lot of black wrestlers that were doing that. But when he won that title, that dude, I can just remember my grandmother was watching it with me, how like much it meant to them. Like again, it's scripted, it's wrestling, but it's still something that speaks to you, especially if you're a wrestling fan. I remember my grandmother said, I never thought I'd see something like this. Like, and they did. It meant something. So I can understand it. And this meant something too. And I can understand all the young ladies that saw Bianca Belair win or Sasha Banks win, and that saw Big E win, the young boys. I can only imagine they probably felt the way I felt when I saw Ahmed Johnson.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like kudos to everyone who were involved. The circumstances of how this happened aside, because look, to be fair, we got the ratings in for this Raw, and they were not great. And it kind of speaks to how WWE just refuses to build up anything outside of like 2 days build. Like, it's kind of scary, but we'll get to that. But huge congratulations to Big E. Huge congratulations to the New Day. Huge congratulations to wrestling, because this was legitimately. I've been watching Raw, and this is my own story at this point. I've been watching Raw every single week for a very, very long time. 3 hours of my life every Monday taken away from me. And my God, this was like such a high moment in this. Like, it almost makes me never want to watch a single minute of Raw again, because I just know it's going to be shit from here on out. Like, nothing can beat that. Absolutely nothing.
Only the bottom level entertainment after this.
Yeah, and what made it even better was the fact that I was watching the Ravens game before that. So I got to skip through all the bullshit. It's like, haha, Randy Orton promo, bye. Like shit. I thought I was gonna listen to a Randy Orton promo. Fuck out of here, WWE. Anyway,
who does this?
Guys, thank you for bearing with our technical difficulties. We really appreciate it. It's been one of those days, but we are here, and we are going to continue talking about WWE. And let's talk about this very interesting development on SmackDown, because we talked a little bit about Raw and Big E, but let's talk about the Universal title picture. The Demon Finn Balor, apparently, Trevor, is back, as he came out and he confronted Roman Reigns, who Finn Balor will face at Extreme Rules for the WWE Universal Championship in a one-on-one match. And we saw Finn lose just about a few weeks ago to Roman Reigns. He teased the Demon gimmick with the heartbeat and everything, and now it looks like we're getting the Demon, which was one of the most popular things about Finn Balor in NXT. It was kind of this alter ego he had. Trevor, what do you think about them bringing the Demon back for this match, and what do you think it might lead to?
I've always liked the Demon gimmick, right? I always thought the Demon gimmick was good. It was one of those gimmicks that was unique, kind of, sort of, for him anyway. And it was something that I was screaming to see against Bray Wyatt when the Fiend came back, and we've talked about this, but they never pulled the trigger. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it might be a waste, because I really don't believe that Finn is going to beat
Roman.
This will be fun to see. It's gonna
be fun to watch, Michael. So I think it is interesting, though. I think they have an opportunity here to get the title off of Roman, and because Roman, I think at this point he's at a point where I don't think he needs the title anymore.
No, he doesn't.
Things might change with Big E now being on Raw. They might want to do a thing where Big E and the New Day face Roman Reigns and the Bloodline at Survivor Series. I think that would be a very prudent move for them to do. Like, that would be better than just a champion versus champion match. But they got an opportunity here. If they want to go down the Lesnar v. Roman route, what you can do is you could have Lesnar in a way distract or cost Roman the title without making the Demon look weak. my issue, like you, is with the Demon. The use of him is probably not going to be in that direction. They're probably going to have him put up a great fight and then lose, or then have other people interfere, and it's gonna be BS booking,
Right.
and no one's gonna get over, and the gimmick is gonna be tarnished again, like it was before, because the reason Balor got rid of it is because it did become a crutch. It's kind of like how Bray Wyatt couldn't lose as the Fiend. Like that's what it became.
Yeah.
And then the more you beat him as the Fiend, it's just like, why is he doing this? Like, why would Pumpkin Pump Balor over here put on all this makeup if he's just gonna get jobbed to Roman Reigns every time? Especially when he beat Roman Reigns in 2017 as Finn Balor, the regular Finn Balor. So it is up to them to decide how to use it. I just do not trust them in putting him over, because you don't do this. You do not do this. You do not have the Demon come back if you're not gonna have Balor go over. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely one of those situations where you're like I said before, where you're like, okay, it's cool to see him, but the luster it doesn't shine like it lost its luster. It doesn't shine like it used to. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as exciting as it once was. Like when he did it in NXT, did it here and there, you saw him walk down the aisle, you're like, oh, this is awesome. But now you're like, whatever. But hopefully they do it well. But this is WWE. Like, why am I kidding myself?
Hey, man, they'll just hotshot the title on SmackDown to pop a rating, and then be like, haha, look at that. We beat AEW in the demo by 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Good shit, pal. Good shit. Speaking of good shit, let's take a look at some of these chats, because I've been ignoring the chat. By the way, guys, if you're watching this, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. We got Real Take Wrestle Talk every Tuesday night, also Real Take Sports Talk every Wednesday night, and Real Take Football Talk, the new show, every Sunday morning. Break down every single Sunday game, because I am a maniac and I love it. Anyway, so Trevor, let's switch gears now. Talk about NXT, the new and improved NXT, the new era of NXT. It's a new day. Yes, it is an NXT.
I'm watching right now, and I'm confused about.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. I've turned it off. But but it is a new day in NXT. Yes, it is. As we're seeing the changes come very quickly, as Samoa Joe announced on Twitter that he will vacate the NXT title due to an undisclosed injury. It's supposed to keep him out for an indefinite amount of time, which is kind of alarming. He also said it would be a brief indefinite amount of time. That's alluding to some speculation that this could be a work. I'm not going to speculate too much on that. I don't know whether or not this is a real injury. We know Samoa Joe has injury issues in the past. There's a fatal four-way match to determine a new NXT champion on NXT, on the launch of NXT 2.0. So, Trevor, how frustrating must this be for Samoa Joe to finally make it back after getting released, after being out for a year, winning the NXT title, and now vacating it because of injury?
You hate. It's one of those things again, like you hate to see. Like it was just like when we were talking about Finn Balor, when he got being the first Universal champion, and then had to vacate because he hurt himself. Like it sucks. Now it could also be a work too. Like it could be one of those situations where it definitely is a work. But again, you don't know. But it was great to see Samoa Joe on TV for as short of time as it was, which is a shame because Samoa Joe on TV is money, and we all know that. But yeah, man, I honestly, and I hate to say this, I would hope it's a work, but I also hope that they wouldn't stoop that low either. You know what I mean?
It would be weird for them to vacate the title because of an injury, like a worked injury. At that point, just have him lose on the launch of the.
Exactly.
Like if you could have him lose in a fatal four-way without him losing the title, but that's what kind of makes me think that this might be an actual injury. We also know Samoa Joe's injury history as well, so so again, don't want to speculate too much on that. What I will say is that Samoa Joe is a fantastic wrestler, and it is really sad to see, because I followed Joe from his time in TNA. I followed Joe from his time to when he went to WWE, when he started there, and then he went to he was in Ring of Honor obviously for a little bit as well, for a while actually before that. What am I saying? But he's been around, and he is a guy who has a lot of respect amongst fans and the boys, as they say in the business in the back. And he's just great. He's great. He's always money, whatever he does. And it is really sad to see. So I just hope Samoa Joe, whatever's going on with him, he's healthy, he's happy, he's safe. If he can do wrestling, great. And if it's bad for his health, then I don't want him to do it, because he's done enough, man. He's done enough. He did enough when he took that bump onto concrete back at TNA, when he did a Hogan leg drop onto concrete stairs. Dude's amazing. This dude's insane. Please, Joe, protect yourself. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously, it's not great to see. The question is, what is the future of NXT after this? And what is the future of Joe? But we can only answer one of those, because we kind of have some insight now. That's why I was saving this to be the last WWE segment. Trevor, we have the launch of NXT 2.0 tonight. There's a fatal four-way match to determine a new number one contender, apparently. I'm not sure yet. I'll see. I'll find out later.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, but what do you expect? We know generally we see the new ring ropes, the new set, the new ambiance of NXT 2.0. They're calling it NXT 2.0 for the relaunch. What do you expect from this, NXT relaunch? Not just now, but a year, 2 years from now. What do you expect NXT to be now?
You know what? I don't know, and I hate to say it like that, because, I mean, you asked me a question that I should be able to answer, but I honestly don't know, because so you see the new colors, you see the ropes, you see the so-called new talent, and as we sit here, both of us are watching back and forth. I don't know if you turn it off or not, but I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, none of it makes any sense. And even the segments with the certain wrestlers, it doesn't make any sense. Like, don't get me wrong, I love NXT. We've talked about how much we both like NXT. Some of the gimmicks that they're doing, the Indy Hartwell thing, it's getting a little old and a little ridiculous. They're making Johnny Gargano look like a complete and utter idiot. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Right now, it just looks like you're ruining a good thing at this point. But we don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, from the ambiance and the change in setting, the change in ring ropes, and all the changes they made to the Capitol Wrestling Center, it looks like they're trying to make it a bigger version or a smaller version rather of what WWE on the main roster is like. Originally NXT had the very different, blank, like they had the black canvas and then the white ring ropes to kind of give it a little bit of a different feel, and then the contrast. And I thought that was great, because after seeing what WWE did for like 10 years, where they just had white ring ropes, white canvas, and it was just so weird to see. Right. You couldn't really see anything. You kind of got lost in a sea of white. But they're basically done that, and they've gotten rid of the contrast. It's basically just all. It's just a smaller version of WWE, like I said, and I think that's what they want it to be. They want it to be a developmental league. They want it to be more of a stripped-down version of the main roster, so they can prepare people that they believe are ready to be on the main roster. That's what they want out of this. So, I mean, as far as me, I've told you my prediction. I think this is going to end up being maybe a slightly better version of WWE ECW, like a year or two down the line, because of the fact that Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard as well are producing this show. And if you're watching it right now, as we're recording, you can probably tell with all the camera cuts they're doing and the lighting and everything. It looks like they're making this a WWE show and not an NXT show to give it a different feel, which is sad, honestly.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Because what was like the main draw, Trevor, of NXT? It was different. That was the main draw.
Like I've said before, like we've said this about AEW. AEW is a real promotion with an indie feel, and that was NXT. NXT, when you looked at it, the ring mat was all ashy. It didn't, it looked like It had been worn and used for a while. Like you said, the ring ropes were black. It looked like they were performing in someone's warehouse. Like it had that grungy indie feel of a promotion like like a Ring of Honor or like of a CZW or OVW, places like that. It had that worn like look, that indie look, and that's to me that was what brought me in. Honestly, that was what brought me into watching. But now you take it, you shot it up, and you make it look like it raw. It loses something for me. It doesn't even look like a developmental now. It just looks like WWE step kid. It doesn't look like a developmental. It to me is not the same anymore. And it's losing. It's been losing something for me for the past couple months. But yeah, this is a big blow to me, and it's actually sad.
The big question for me is I just wonder. I don't have an answer for this. I wonder how many hardcore NXT fans who tune in every week are gonna tune into this week, see how different it is, and then tune out in the following weeks, because
that's a good question.
That's the big question for WWE, because this was look, NXT was not doing terrible ratings. They were like 700 to 800 900,000 people a night. That's pretty good on a Tuesday night.
They were giving AEW a strong fight when they were on Wednesdays.
Yeah, and look. I mean, I don't know what they want. Like, if big thing is, I think USA, they're gonna be pissed if this relaunch doesn't go well, because they have enough reason to be pissed with WWE. They are pissed, apparently, reportedly, according to multiple sources at WWE, for various booking decisions and whatnot. But I wonder what's going to happen if NXT starts losing viewers. I wonder what USA is going to do. Be like, if there's an out from that contract, USA is probably going to be like, we liked you guys, but this deal ain't too sweet, if you know what I mean.
NXT is going to be exclusively on Peacock.
Might as well, bro. Just like 205 Live, which is apparently still going on somehow, some way.
It's crazy. I thought they stopped that.
Nope, 205 Live and WWE main event, still a thing.
Sheesh.
But and the funny thing is, it's not like dark matches from the shows. Like I don't know what they're doing. I'm just like, it's not even like dark, dude. Like I don't get what they do. I don't get what that company does. Anyway, guys, if you get what we do, please hit that like button so more people see this. Help out the algorithm. Hit that like button. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Got new videos on the daily, clips of this show, some exclusive content coming up. You can also get early access to exclusive content on patreon.com/Real Take Sports. Let's read out some of these chats because I have ignored them. Big E deserves it after all this time, says CC. Cincy in the chat says, Bobby, quote, milk dud Lashley. Oh god, winner is you. CC in the chat says he does look like an angry milk dud. This is true. Bobby Lashley does kind of look like.
I used to always say he looked like an angry snapping turtle.
Snapping turtles. That's a good one too. Franklin. Let's see. Cincy in the chat says this man Omar loves Pumpkin Pup Balor. Yes, I do. I love Pumpkin Pup Balor with his little floppy ears. NXT taste the rainbow. Cincy out here just laying out amazing
one-liners.
Amazing one-liners. Who the fuck watches? He has another one. Who the fuck watches? Who the fuck is on 205 Live besides Odyssey Jones? Oh, Cincy, you might make me root for the Bengals this year. You might make me root for the Bengals this year in some games. And that's saying a lot considering I'm a Ravens fan. Actually, we have one more thing about NXT that I totally skipped over, and that is some contract updates. We got a big contract update, actually, for one Pete Dunne. So Pete Dunne is apparently staying with WWE. According to Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp said that Pete Dunne has agreed to terms on a long-term deal with WWE. Sources confirmed that Dunne agreed to apparently a 3-year deal that is said to have personally been offered by Triple H before he was sidelined recently. So that's good to know that he got a parting gift to be done on his way out. So that's interesting. So Pete Dunne now, he's not going to AEW. All that talk is over. Trevor, how big is this re-signing for WWE? Because they were losing some quality talent, but they were able to keep Dunne.
I mean, it's huge, especially since they were just giving talent away. Um, this is absolutely huge for them. Hopefully, they do right by Dunn, so he wants to stay a little longer. But yeah, I mean, I mean, he seemed to be happy. He spoke a few times about how he liked his relationship with Triple H, his relationship with the company. So it seems like they have a healthy working relationship. So let's hope it works out for him.
Yeah, let's hope it works out. I mean, this was absolutely crucial if you're WWE to keep Pete Dunne because you had already lost. You'd lost out some big fish. You'd lost out on Bryan Danielson. They couldn't get a deal done with him. You lost out on Adam Cole. They couldn't get a deal done with him. And they're all going to one place right now. They're all going to one place. Bray Wyatt, we'll talk about that later in the show, might be headed to that very same place. So at a certain point, when you're losing all this talent and you're not replacing it, it becomes a huge concern, especially when the other place that they're going to apparently knows how to use talent and use them to make their show better. So this was a huge re-signing for WWE, and it might be a sign that he might get called up to the main roster sooner rather than later, considering they've lost a lot of people, and he's just signed a new 3-year deal. They want to probably get him more involved in what's going on the main roster, get him more involved in storylines, expose him to a bigger audience. So I think that could be happening. But the other thing to take away from this is I just wonder what they do with Pete Dunne on the main roster, what he could become, because his gimmick with the Bruiserweight, I think he would be a good opponent for Roman Reigns. I really think he would be a really good opponent for Roman Reigns.
Good one. That would be a definite good one. I think their styles would meld very well together, and just Pete Dunne's overall aesthetic and his attitude, I think will work very well with Roman Reigns. But again, we don't know what show he would go on. But I don't know. That could be a potential opponent he drops the belt to.
Maybe. I just know that if I was Pete Dunne and I'm in those negotiations, or if I was a talent to the level of Pete Dunne and I was in those negotiations, there's like 3 things right off the bat that, knowing that AEW probably wants me, knowing that I could make similar money to on the indies or wherever, right? Because of how great the wrestling scene is. I'm asking for 3 very simple things. 1, I'm asking for a no-cut clause in my contract. You can't cut me before my contract is up. That's like baseline. That's like guaranteed.
Yep.
2, I'm asking for not creative control, creative input, and that's something I'd negotiate with. Like I'd be willing to, let go of that a little bit if I got the no cut clause. That'd be kind of a negotiating tool. And the other thing that I would really want in my contract are limited dates, limited schedule. Like, I would leverage the hell out of this situation. If I'm a talent, if you're one of these people whose contract is coming up, if you're Johnny Gargano, if you're Sami Zayn, at least get a no-cut contract where they can't release you for no reason whenever they want to. Get that in your contract. That is a big freaking deal because it gets you your money, and it saves you like possibly like It helps you plan too. It helps you plan for your future. You're going to be there.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. That's a good one. And another one I would say is I would only go up to the main roster if I'm going to SmackDown.
Just like I'm going to SmackDown. It's fucking Bob Holly. Yeah.
Right.
I'll never forget that. Bob Holly Vince had a big meeting backstage, and he got everyone together backstage, stood up on a chair and said, "All right, pal, guys, let's start thinking ways everyone can help. What's the best thing we can do right now to beat WCW?" Bob Holly raises his hands. "Yeah, you can give me the belt." Oh, we love hardcore. Love hardcore Holly, just like I love you guys. Let's go to the chat real quick. Cincy in the chat says, # I have more wrestling skill than Eva Marie.
The chair you're sitting in might.
Oh my god. my thing is, you know what? Eva Marie's entire gimmick should be that she is a bad wrestler. That would get over. That would get over. That should be her gimmick.
You know
I
what?
am a
That
bad
would be a
wrestler,
good one.
but I'm
That would be
here.
a good
I'm
one.
getting paid. I got TV time. Fight me, people. Like, that would be a killer gimmick. I'd love that. Like, remember when Eva Marie was doing that stuff on SmackDown in 2016 where she just found very clever ways to get out of wrestling matches?
Yeah.
That should have been how they brought her back. Just redo all that. That was amazing stuff. It made me want to see Eva Marie wrestle.
Yeah,
They made me in 2016. SmackDown made me want to see Eva Marie wrestle. That is a huge accomplishment. It shows you what this company could be if they ever put their best foot forward. But that look, it's a fine gimmick. Look at what's her name in AEW, Rebel or Reba. Look at what she's doing.
She barely wrestles.
And she's not even.
Is she still on crutches?
No. She was in the Casino Battle Royale. She's not even like a fully trained wrestler like that. But she's out there, and her gimmick is that she doesn't wrestle. Like she's basically the DMD's assistant. But that's the whole gimmick, and that's why it works. That's why you can work around. She can work a little bit, but you can work around that. So that's what I would do. WWE, pay me. Anyway, let's move on.
That's what they would do. They wouldn't pay you.
They would not pay me. Not at all. Anyway, guys, let's move on and talk about ratings because everyone loves ratings. Last week, Dynamite beat Raw in the key demo. In the key demo, Dynamite had a rating of 681,000 viewers, while Raw last week had 678,000. Mind you, Trevor, this was a week before Monday Night Football, so they weren't even competing with anything. Dynamite just beat Raw last week, which is just crazy. That was the show right after All Out, and we were wondering. A lot of people were wondering how would Raw do this week. They had the big match with Big E. They had all this stuff happen, and they built it up quickly, and let me just say, it did not yield the results they wanted because Raw this week, even with Big E winning the WWE title, had a total viewership of 1.67 million viewers overall, but in the key demo, which again is the big thing that networks and everyone looks at, and all the advertisers look at, 556,000 viewers on average in the key demo, which is down from last week. Of course, they were competing with Monday Night Football, but that's big. And AEW just looks like they're going to ramp things up as Adam Cole is going to be wrestling on Dynamite on Wednesday. So there's a lot of build up for that. They're going to have that big September 22nd show. And now Raw is going to be going up against Monday Night Football every week for like the next 18 weeks. So, Trevor, I'm going to ask you very blankly, can Raw rebound from this?
You know, so here's the thing. Are they capable of it? Yes, I think they might be, but we haven't really seen that in past however long you want to like give them. We haven't really seen them even try that hard. Like you like we've said many times, you see repeats of matches. You see the same like 8 wrestlers on TV like every Monday. Like the promos are ghastly. Like some of the and don't get me wrong, as cool as RK Bro is, it's kind of being minimized and dwarfed by like the stupidity that is Miz and everything else is going on. Like in the gimmick that with Alexa Bliss, we talked about how bad that is. Even though I think it's getting a teensy weensy bit better, it's still what it is. And like, if you want to compete with these guys, 1, showcase the talent you have. 2, better writing. And like actually believe that your product is good, because no one actually believes it, not even you. And you're showing it. So at the rate they're going now, no, I don't think they can rebound unless they do a big revamp and change something drastically.
So like you're talking about they need to like basically reboot the show. They need to stick to storylines, have fresher matches, things we've been asking for months that they haven't been doing.
Pretty much. I mean, To be honest, Big E might help. I honestly believe Big E's going to help. I do. But if you make his storyline stale, it's not going to help too much. I mean, because they could, yes, they rushed the whole Nikki Ash thing, but they could have done so much with that. You know what I mean?
It was just so short. All of it, everything you mentioned though, is just so short sighted. Even the Nikki Ash thing, she won
Yeah,
the belt. She was champion for what, 3 weeks or whatever, and they only came up with merch for her like within the last like 4 days of her title reign. Like I'm just like. They literally don't plan things out, and that shows big time, and that's what's hurt them, and I think that's what's going to hurt them because even with the Big E title win, as great as that was, as happy as we all are for Big E, they came up with that literally, Trevor, at the 11th hour. Big E
yep.
announced that via Twitter. They built that whole thing up via Twitter and thought that would be enough on the same day. That would be enough for them to have this great rating and compete with Monday Night Football and all that stuff during a great game, by the way, between the Raiders and the Ravens. But it wasn't going to work because it was short-sighted. It was a reactionary move too. It was strictly a reactionary move. There's no huge change that's happening with WWE that I at least see coming in the near future, other than Raw in the key demo over at least the next 15 to 16 weeks, however long the football season goes on Monday night. Raw for the next like 16 weeks is going to get probably their asses handed to them. And if AEW keeps up the same trajectory they are, if they keep putting the same level of matches and storylines together, I think AEW is not only going to beat Raw in the key demo for the time being, they might, that September 22nd show they're building up might surpass Raw in overall viewership, because it's pretty close. We're talking about 1.3 million at AEW overall viewership and 1.7, 1.6 million for Raw. That is, it's close. It is getting close. And I'm not one of these guys who's like, oh, they're in a war, because AEW, their whole thing is they don't build their show around beating WWE in ratings. They build their show around good wrestling and good storylines and entertainment. They don't build it around reactionary moves that are just like quick takes and quick reactions to what's going on. They build something that's going to last, rather than Raw, which is just like they don't even believe in the matches they have booked for the next week. They retcon that shit every single week. So if there's a match announced for next week on Raw, dude, it doesn't matter, because they're not going to have that match, or it's going to be changed or something within the first like hour of the show next week. So it's just chaos versus like consistency as far as Raw versus AEW. That's what I've seen, at least.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It's just complete chaos. And at this point, they're trying to one up what AEW, but like actually put some plan and thought into it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's AEW. Most of the things that they do are calculated. I mean, they have rushed a few things, and it didn't turn out well. But they are pretty much calculated. A lot, like the Adam Page storyline, like we talk about all the time, is probably one of the longest storylines that I've seen in recent years, that is paying off if they continue it. Like, when you rush something that could have been much, I mean, it was already amazing, but it could have been like 20 times more amazing if you like gave it some time to nurture it. Like, let them put the challenge out this week. Next week, let them hint to it again. Like, come out and say something. Then, like, in like another week, let them challenge for it. Like, you could have done it so much better.
They couldn't even announce it on Like you could have announced it on SmackDown. They knew the ratings by the time Friday Night SmackDown rolled around.
Right.
They knew what the ratings were. They knew what they probably were going to be doing. Have Big E come out, announce it on SmackDown. You have at least 4 days to build it up. That's enough time. That's good. That's a good amount of time. But 12 hours, less than 12 hours? Come on. What did you expect? And look, it's very possible with Adam Cole's first match tonight on Dynamite and everything that's going to happen on Dynamite. It's very possible that they beat Raw again in the key demo, because it's a hot product leading to a hot show next week. So they're just going to keep the ball rolling, and it's consistency. Now they have the stars to make it a viable alternative, which it already was. But it is it's crazy to me. It is crazy to me that some of the decisions that this billion-dollar company in WWE is making as of late. It's absolutely crazy.
It's it makes no sense. I mean, you hit it on the head. They might actually really be just ready to sell it. They actually might. I mean, that's what it looks like.
And it's so weird because the whole talk was when Vince is in a corner, like that's been his legacy. When Vince is in a corner, when he sees like threats like this, he takes them seriously and he adjusts. We haven't seen Vince adjust in a legitimate way. And that's kind of scary, man. That's kind of scary. It might tell you he's more out of touch than people even at first realized.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's not the MO of Vince and Kevin, man.
Also, by the way, for anyone watching NXT right now, they have some fake ass Glenn Jacobs just beat the shit out of Drake Maverick.
Yeah, just like
fake ass Glenn Jacobs, bootleg Glenn Jacobs over here.
Just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. Oh my. This is a new NXT. I don't understand this.
And he came up. I don't know if you saw him. He came out there with like a billy club.
Yeah. Oh, that is. Oh my God. Is this the Scottish? That's Tommaso Ciampa. It's Tommaso Ciampa.
No, the girl, the woman.
I have no idea who that is.
She looks familiar.
Maybe she was on NXT last week, Trevor. Did you think about that one?
I didn't watch NXT last week.
Hey, you want to know someone else who probably didn't watch NXT last week? Bray Wyatt. But let's talk about Bray Wyatt. This is an interesting report from him. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer suggested that if Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, were to sign with AEW, then he could debut for the company, or the plan would be to debut him at the September 29th edition of Dynamite, a show that is set in Rochester, New York, in the home of Rotunda's former tag team partner, the late great Brody Lee. However, there's a little bit of controversy concerning this report, considering the fact that if Rotunda or Bray Wyatt had a 90-day no-compete, it probably wouldn't run out until somewhere in October, so the dates don't match up there. There have been rumors about wrestlers granting releases or getting out of the releases early, so that might be in play here. Maybe, but Meltzer hasn't really suggested anything of that like yet. But what do you take away from this report? Do you buy it? And what would you think if they actually debuted him in that way? Like they had the big September 22nd show, and then right after that, you get Bray Wyatt on AEW TV.
I mean, it'd be a very, very early, or in this case for me, late birthday gift. But it's one of those things. Like a lot of these reports, sometimes I feel like it's just like trying to build up just some chatter, so we have something to talk about. But like you said, his 90-day clause hasn't run out yet, so it might be a little hard to get him to do that. I mean, unless he gets out of it. But I mean, I could see him in October or something closer to Halloween, something like that. You know what I mean? Since that is kind of his gimmick, he's kind of dark. I could see something closer to October, but I don't think you're gonna see. If you see Wyndham Rotunda, you will not see him in September.
Yeah, I mean, unless he got out of his contract, like someone suggested, there's just no possible way because it's a 90-day no-compete dates. Right. So I don't know how much I believe this report specifically. However, what I would believe is that he's probably on his way to AEW, and if we're talking about places he might just fit in immediately, what is a group that is currently in need of leadership? In shambles, like you just said, the Dark Order. And I know immediately a lot of people get very sensitive about it because of the great late Brody Lee. But if assuming, everyone's on board with it, again, this is just me shooting the breeze, speculating, because it's a wrestling talk show, by the way. But it's not news, it's a talk show. But if they were to do this, I would say have him be the new leader of the Dark Order. Give them that edge. Give them that feeling that this thing is a threat, and they don't need the titles to be a threat either. They're just an entity in themselves, and they're entertaining in themselves, and that's a great thing to build around. That's a great point to build around, And who better to take over the Dark Order right now than Bray Wyatt. You know, they're that's just again my opinion, but I think that would be the way to go.
It would be a great move. I think it would be a great move for Bray in Dark Order. I think that'd be a great move in AEW. I think all parties win. That'd be a great move because I was thinking. I think we talked before that it could be Malachi Black, but I don't think it's going to be Malachi Black. If they're going to get someone to do it, it would probably be Wyndham Rotunda.
Yeah, and he's already like changed his name to Wyndham Rotunda. He's been speculating and hinting at these things, various things on his Twitter with the new mask and the new design, the new name, and all that kind of stuff. So
the cult of Wyndham.
The cult of Wyndham, and he might just be trolling us with that too. So there's a lot to happen over the next month to pay attention to, and it's gonna happen in AEW. I think. I think. He wants to continue wrestling is also the other thing to take away from the several reports over the past number of months. He does want to continue wrestling. There was a lot of false reports that he didn't, and he personally has said that those are false. He didn't have any there weren't those mental health allegations were untrue, unfounded. So if you reported that, you're a piece of shit, but other than that, I think he's ready to go. I think the fans are ready to see him, and whatever he's doing, whether he's in the Dark Order or he's, having a tag team with Malachi Black, call him the Death Eaters, whatever you want to do, it's going to be amazing. It's just going to be good to see Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, do his craft and then do it in a way he wants to. Because Tony Khan, too, he's going to let him do basically whatever he wants. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing, though? That AEW kind of gives them that freedom?
So you said this. We've said this before. Yes, it is, but Tony still has final say on whether it really goes through or not. So he may want to sacrifice a chicken on TV, but Tony might not. Tony be like, that sounds interesting, but let's not go with that. But you know what I mean? He still has final say. I think the creative control that they give their wrestlers is great. I honestly think it's a good idea.
Just very quickly, it's just quickly to clarify, it's not creative control. I just want to because I know
that's right. It's not.
Some people
control.
Might get confused. I know what you meant, but
it's not creative control. It's
creative input.
Input. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I think it's great that they have that. I do.
Yeah, it's not just you get handed a script, you get handed an entire promo, and you get told to say no. It's like Tony comes up to you and is like, "All right, what do you want to do?"
You just get input on what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay, cool. That sounds cool. Here's some bullet points that I want you to hit. Say the date of the pay-per-view. Say that. Don't say the word fuck, and you're good."
You can almost slip, but just don't say it.
You want to throw in a shit? Have at it, pal. But don't say fuck. Don't you dare say fuck. And no more pizza cutters. No more pizza cutters on AEW TV.
None of that. We tried it. It's not gonna work. We're done.
Nick Gage, man, your boy couldn't even. He could. Man, it took him literally all of 10 minutes of being on AEW TV before he got canceled.
That was the first time that Chris Jericho ever met him, right? That was the first time they ever met. They ever met was when they wrestled together.
And Nick Gage was like, I'm gonna fucking cut you, Jericho. He fucking cut him.
Because they didn't even meet when he was doing the Dark Side of the Ring. When Jericho was narrating it, he never met him then.
That's crazy. It's also weird. It's so weird to me, that Nick Gage, he made sure that was real glass, that he went through. He made sure that was real glass. I'm just like, you could have gotten away with that one, kid. Could have gotten away with the work there, kid.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, though. I promise you, Jericho saw that glass and was like, "Oh, I'm not fucking taking that bump."
That's all you, Nikki. That's all you, Nikki.
Bro, you know damn well Jericho's like, "Oh, bro, hey, you want to put some cardboard and some plywood on top of that? I got you. Put some crash mats on top of that. I got you. Print out some loose leaf paper, boy. Lay that out. That's all me. I'm not going through that glass. You got me fucked up, Nikki.
Fuck that. Got me fucked up, Nick.
Got me fucked up, Nick. And Nick Gage is like, I'll fucking do it.
Even though Jericho did say it was a pleasure to work with him, though. He said it was fun to work. He was fun to work with. But
It's fun to work with. How much fun is it to get your forehead cut? Well, it's a good question for you, Trevor. Would you ever, if Nick Gage offered to cut your forehead?
How much money am I getting?
No, you're not getting any money. Nick Gage says,
Fuck no.
"I'll do the." No, Nick Gage just comes up to you and says, "Oh, do the honors."
Now, again, I did backyard wrestling, right? So I did stupid shit, but I've never done anything quite that stupid. So
I've never juiced myself. So.
like, no, I'm not gonna cut myself with a piece. First off, you know how fucking sharp that piece gonna have to be,
bro. I'm telling you, the hepatitis that's lingering on there. Like, how many people has he cut with that same pizza cutter?
That's how COVID started. That's exactly how COVID started.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not YouTube. I swear to God, it's not. That is. He's lying. He's a liar. I fact checked him live on air. It is not Trevor. You gotta control what you say, buddy. Oh my God! And with that, no.
Anyway.
Not even allegedly. Just no. No.
No.
No, bro.
Shit.
And this segment's going off the rails. This is kind of like this show, but it's a fun show, Michael. Let's keep it going, though, and talk about these AEW attendance numbers. So, according to Wrestle Ticks, a total of 18,000 tickets have been sold so far for the AEW Grand Slam show on September 22nd in Queens at Arthur Ashe Stadium. And it's possible that those numbers could even reach 19,000, Trevor, if they decide to open up some more seats. And let me just give you a rundown of some of the notes here. Available tickets as of right now, 669. Nice. The estimated capacity total is 8,692. And right now they have just slightly over 18,000 tickets sold. They've sold out 90% of the capacity that they have listed right now for the arena, which is great. But Trevor, how big a deal is this that they could be looking to expand within a week? They're offering for tickets after they've sold 18,000 shows. It's already the biggest show in the AEW history. How big is this for AEW to sell out this venue?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, it's big for two reasons. One, it's big for a young company to be able to do something like this, and two, it's never been done. It's never been done by a wrestling company before. No wrestling company's ever done Arthur Ashe Stadium. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering why. Probably because they didn't expect to do, as much as they're doing, many seats and people as they're doing. But like, dude, it looks like a great venue. I've actually seen Arthur Ashe Stadium plenty of times, and it's a great venue for something like this. So, kudos to Tony Khan, and like this is the first. This is also you guys are about to see wrestling history because this has never been done.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here, and I mean, it's just great, honestly. It is great that they're kind of taking a different approach. I can't wait to see what that stadium looks like with AEW having their ramps and their entrance tubes set up and everything. It's going to be really cool visual. I can't wait to see what that stadium looks like, at night, whether it's domed or they have it open. It's going to look really cool. And I like the fact that AEW likes to do these different types of arenas, like whether it's a Daly's Place or Tony Khan talked about, going to London, but doing it at the Cottage Club, which is a football stadium.
Right.
And all these different ideas he has about, maybe doing a show at Soldier Field, which he said that could be in the, down the line, or they're in Toronto, and picking these weird, interesting, unique places and making them his own. That's a great marketing technique. And two, it's just cool to see because we're used to seeing, okay, now WWE, when they run Madison Square Garden, it looks the exact same like every arena. They took out the parts that made Madison Square Garden legitimately fun, like the big entranceway, with the like in the center of the hard cam. But no, everyone has to come out the side, and then you cover up the walkway, so it's just like, oh, we're live here in Madison Square Garden. It's just like, who fucking cares,
Who cares at this point? Yeah, I mean, Royal Rumble showed that, like you said, like it was terrible. It was awful. I mean, that's a great place for it, but it's terrible. But no, this is going to be interesting. And like you said, to piggyback off what you said, I honestly believe that it's going to look interesting with all of the, the ring ramps and things like that. I'm just looking at the visual, I'm trying to figure out where they will probably put the ramp.
They'll probably have it set up. They have like a whole. So the way the tickets, or if you look online to buy tickets, they'll show you kind of the setup a little bit. And basically, it's like they have one of these corners, like where the American flag is right there.
That's what
just cut off. Yeah, just cut off, and that's gonna be the side where the entrance is and everything else. It's gonna basically
that's kind of what I was thinking.
It's gonna be like they set up any arena, but it's gonna look bigger and grander because of how massive this place is. It can hold up to like 20,000 seats in total, but obviously when you got the entrance ramp, it's people behind can't really see, so they have to tarp off some of the seats anyway. Like any company does that. Before all you AEW has to tarp off seats. I'm like, bro, have you watched Raw? And so like there's a reason they don't show anything past like where the announcers are, because it's not pretty.
I've worked for an arena where they showed wrestling, and they do that for every event. Like no matter how much it sells, they do it for every event.
Yeah. Dude, I'm excited for this September 22nd Arthur Ashe show. I'm so excited.
Dude, I am. And I wonder if it does well, which I'm sure it will. Will this be something they do annually?
I mean, it could be. It could be. They could do like They have a deal with TNT to do 4 like big events, like TV events every year. So who knows? This could be one of them. Arthur Ashe Grand Slam could be one of them. I think that it's gonna be like that. Fighter Fest could be another one. Winter is coming, probably going to be like they branded the shit out of Special Dynamites. Yeah, they got some good stuff. And you know what? So do we. We got some great stuff for you. That's why we do this every single week, every single Tuesday night. Real Take Wrestle Talk every Tuesday. Real Take Sports Talk Wednesday nights right here on the channel. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Would you let me get my shilling in, sir?
I'm sorry. Get your shillings.
My shillings, sir. Anyway, Trevor, let's get to our final official topic of today, and that is the AEW pay-per-view numbers. Tony Khan, the AEW president, revealed on Busted Open Radio that the AEW pay-per-view All Out 2021 topped 200,000 buys, which is an AEW record. It easily tops Revolution's, which AEW Revolution 2020, which held the record at 135,000 buys, and it is the largest non-WWE pay-per-view buy rate since 1999. Huge stuff happening in AEW, by the way. Huge stuff. Even topped some WWE pay-per-views between 2011 and 2012. So they are doing real business. They had a $5 million share at the gate, which was also a record for them. Trevor, what does this momentum mean? Because look, we know that it's well over 200,000, but that's just initial numbers. In like 4 months, we'll know what the exact numbers are. Right. But what does this mean? What does this mean for AEW moving forward?
Now, right now, it seems like All Out might be their version of, like, let's say, SummerSlam?
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. This is their version of WrestleMania. Okay, cool. But, yeah, like, dude, if they keep this momentum going forward, like, it's nothing but great things. Like, everybody already wants to wrestle for this company. Like, a lot of my wrestling friends are talking about AEW. That's the thing they're talking about. He's not an AEW fan. Swears by WWE. No matter how terrible it is, he swears by it. He told me he watched Rampage and was enamored. He was like, dude, this is awesome. Why didn't you tell me to watch this before? I was like, I tried to tell you. Like he was one of those people that bought AEW All Out pay-per-view. Like it's gonna start happening, guys. And if it keeps going like this, AEW is going to keep continuously kick WWE's ass.
It's so crazy to witness this. This was Trevor, like you've been following wrestling for a long time. You followed it through the Monday Night Wars and everything, dude. Just put into context how unimaginable this was just like 3 years ago.
It's crazy, like So, like you said, with the Monday Night Wars, that at that point was crazy. You know, that was something that was like, wow. You had two juggernauts going against each other. Like, never seen anything like that. Then WCW folded, and like you didn't see any competition. Like for a long time, WWE was the only wrestling on TV for a while. I mean, Impact, but unfortunately, Impact never got the momentum that they needed. And as good as RH was, same thing. But to
Yeah,
see,
like Impact's highest buy rate, to put this in perspective,
yeah,
Impact's highest buy rate was like 50,000.
yeah, it was nowhere close. I mean, but to see something, and this company is still young, regardless of what anyone thinks. This is not something that has been around for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. No, they've been around 3.5, if I'm right. And they
Two and a
are
half.
all
2.5.
2.5. Yes,
2019.
I gave them an extra year, and so it's just crazy to see what they're doing. This is nuts. They are surpassing like what WCW did. They're doing it. I mean, they're not there yet, but they're getting there. And I never thought I'd see anything like this.
Neither would I. It's a refreshing. It's exciting. It's exciting. I don't know why people are going to complain about it. It is awesome. It is awesome that a company's doing well. It's awesome that wrestlers are getting making money.
Right.
That's awesome. It's just cool to see someone succeed in this endeavor. Like it's never been done before. AEW, as far as like, what they've put into it and everything, they're in a place where you can argue they're definitely putting on a better product than WCW ever did.
Yeah.
They're in a place where, like people want to say like, oh, WCW was like the biggest like alternative to WWE ever. Like, oh, AEW every day is just chipping away at that. Like AEW is it's just crazy how fast this is getting so big.
They're taking a lot of the formulas that you saw in like old school pro wrestling, and they're revamping it, and they're using it to work for their advantage. They're taking some of the formulas that WWE even used early on when in like Attitude Era and things like that, when they were actually a good, amazing company, and they're repackaging them and doing it in an amazing way. Like it's bananas. It's crazy. Like someone tried to compare the formation of the New World Order. I don't know if you saw this article of the New World Order to Daniel Bryan's appearance, Adam Cole, and Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, but it's not exactly the same thing. But I get where they're coming from. You know what I mean?
To quote CM Punk, it's bigger.
Yeah, and it is.
I think it's bigger. I truly think it. Like, and again, a prisoner of the moment. Don't give a fuck. It is bigger. Like it is just because it's not. It's something that has some staying power too. It's something that has some staying power. But yeah, I mean, anything else on AEW and these pay-per-view numbers?
I mean, no, I don't think we have anything else for that.
I don't have anything else. Do you want to? What do you want to do for the rest of it? Because for the rest of this time, do you want to just watch this NXT title match?
We could. Who the fuck is the dude in the blue pants?
I don't know what's been going on this whole show. Would you ask?
I said, who the fuck is that guy in the blue pants?
It's not. I can tell you who it's not. It's not. Blue pants. It's not. 15 minutes actually watching the show. Come on now.
Yeah, but still.
Well, that was something. All right, that was truly something, guys. Thanks for.
We don't know what it was, but it was something.
This was. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you for joining us on the new and improved Real Take Wrestle Talk 2.0. We will be back with our regularly scheduled programming, of course, next week, every single Tuesday, right here on the YouTube channel, hopefully with less technical interruptions. But in the meantime, Trevor, say bye to the people. Give your parting thoughts.
Guys, it's great to be back. Also, next week, we will have the return of Wrestling Spotlight. And if you have some ideas, post them in the comment section. Love them.
Yep, we will. Guys, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.